Morning, Patreon subscribers. So we'll start with gold because we are currently sideways, and I wanted to show you this better volumes candle and how we can use it, for trade ideas. So we want to make sure we're actually, using that right candle for the price action, so we know it corresponds to this one, okay? Because it corresponds to the red. Red is buying and white is selling, but the red has dominated the selling there. So you see how the red is greater than the white. So we know this one marks that. Insert shapes, rectangle, and so we're marking this one here, okay? And you can see what's happened. We had a test. So from a technical perspective, it's a decent buy because that's where the bullish volume has come in. This is institutional buying and selling. We are a buy at the big picture, and the smart traders are long. So we could be looking to probably target the SLC 1888, and there is one quite far above, which is a little bit concerning if you're short. It's 1919. So there's an idea how to use the better volumes, which is quite cool. See how we had a test there. So potentially you could have waited for about, like a retest, and you would have done okay, and your stop would be just below there, or potentially you could be here, but it's fairly wide. So that's how you use the better volume setup. So we will talk about the better volumes because they are pretty amazing. And so there's your target 1888 because we got this support. The one below is possible because we might thrash around at the CPI. Makes sense that we would really move. Whipsaw 1867, and that's that. Okay, so let's look at the majors. There's your monthly pivot, remember, for GU. Technically bearish because we've got MP as a resistance. One below, 120.90. One above is at 122.10. Daily open, weekly open. There's your target for long. There's your target for short. Possible, but remember, I put into Discord that there's only an 80% chance for 25 basis point hike from the Fed at the next meeting. So there's an 80% chance of a 25 basis point hike, and because that's less aggressive than we'd imagine and forecast, it probably puts some pressure on the USD from a fundamental perspective. If they do hike 50 basis points, that's going to send the dollar into quite a frenzy. It'll get quite angry, but 25 basis points is fairly weak, and it's quite reassuring for the market and risk appetite. So we have to remember fundamentals, and this is what I mean. So have a look in the USD section and read that. So this is actually quite risk on in so much as that they're not going to really aggressively hike, but maybe today's CPI data is going to change that. So quite a tricky day today, but technically we've got resistance there. And we are currently a buy, so maybe above MP, target SLC. And remember, the macro picture for the dollar is that it's going to be under a bit of pressure because of that 25 basis point hike at the next meeting. Look at Euro. Here we go. There's your monthly pivot. We've exceeded the ATR long. There's your SLC above, it's 107.80. One below is at 107.10. We are a buy. They've held on. They've held on to those shorts since here-ish. So they underwent a lot of drawdown. It's quite bad, but that's just like trading for you, and that's retail guys. So you could argue we had a diagonal break there as well. Can you see? We had like 4 touches there. So we had monthly pivot, diagonal break, but they sold instead of buying. So that's the euro. So there's your targets. It's hard to say what's going to happen here, but at least you've got your targets, and we have exceeded the HR long. All right. AU, we've got to remember the Australian dollar. We've got the China reopening, and this is currently a swing trade idea. Oh, okay. Well, I'll come back to that. AU. And the reason for a AN being a long is because of the macro and the economic ties to China. So this against its that's really annoying why it's done that. Let's go to auto scroll. That takes us to where we are. yeah, because the macroeconomic ties with China, Australian dollar should perform quite well. So, we could probably argue we've done pivot to ML1. Very aggressive spikes, took out stops, myself included, and I got stopped out. So I got stopped out of this, and I got stopped out of S&P, and currently, the SLC below is large, so that's worth noting. 68.80, we're 15 pips away. Yeah, we're 15 pips away, so that's quite likely. It's so large, that looks like a likely candidate. There's your weekly open. On above is at 69.24. So we did the MP to MR1 move, which is the reason why I shorted it. But I had a bad entry. My entry wasn't that good. It's 11th yesterday. Oh, this is that move. I think that caught me out. It's a 50 pip move. So you need to know your sizes as well. If you don't know your sizes, that's going to be quite painful. So try and trade small, and then you'll be okay. Very naughty behaviour. Horrible, really. Look how choppy that is. Fundamentally, this can do quite well because the Aussie bit and then the USD bit, like I explained earlier about the CME FedWatch tool, which is that's what that's talking about there. So potentially SLC and bounce, and then we'll look at dollar Swiss because the Swiss was under a lot of pressure, and technically it's quite weak. Now we've got monthly pivot here. Because we're above monthly pivot, we have to target MR1. So what's quite interesting, we did MP. We didn't quite get to support, but we nearly did. Where we hit the ATR target on the short, and now we're potentially ATR target on the long in a week, which would be bonkers. So be careful with this one. And looks like we might have taken that SLC out, 93.49. One up below is 91.50, and dollar yen. So dollar Swiss is very tricky right now. Monthly pivot here for UJ. One above 132.85 and 131.30. And what will probably happen after the CPI today, this is going to change. There won't be an 80% chance. It will get lower or get higher, but this will be a big deal for the large speculators. They're looking at this FedWatch tool. If that changes significantly, it's going to really boost the USD or weaken the USD and risk appetite, generally speaking. So it's all about the CPI today. No one knows for sure what's going to happen. And we know that if hedge funds are selling USD as well, the COT data was a little bit sideways for the non-coms. So be really careful and trade small. And then we'll see you guys on Monday because I'm off tomorrow. Okay, so remember to trade safely. And I welcome to all the new subscribers as well. Let me know if you've got any questions, especially if you don't understand the sheet at all and what those values mean. And there are videos at the top there which should help. So have a great day, trade safely, and I'll speak to you guys soon.